and welcome to Insure Your Health. My name is Erin Ackenheil, and I work with Blackpoint Insurance, where we help Medicare beneficiaries nationwide learn to navigate the A, B, C's, and D's of Medicare. And we help agents and brokers in the same space learn to launch, grow, and retain their businesses. Insure Your Health is all about bringing in industry experts on the carrier space, bringing in leading executives from carriers to tell us what's happening with their product portfolio and how they uniquely differentiate in the marketplace, with provider partners who are physicians in the community on hot topics in healthcare today. And we also bring in industry experts to teach Medicare beneficiaries about the different parts of Medicare and to help agents and brokers gain their training and understanding to bring better outcomes to Medicare beneficiaries across the country. So I'm so excited to be here today. I'm very enthusiastic about our next guest. Today's guest is part of our Carrier Spotlight edition, and we are actually bringing on the Chief Pharmacy Officer of Scan Health Plan that's geographically located in Southern California. And Sharon Jhawar is wonderful. She's coming on. She's got a huge background in pharmacy, and she is going to really dazzle us with all the unique differentiators that Scan Health Plan has in terms of making sure that pharmacy benefits are more accessible for members, that we're looking at improving the cost of care for pharmacy prescriptions, and also making the processes easier for beneficiaries to get things approved and to work through their health plan partners to ensure a great experience. In 2024, we're going to see major changes to the prescription drug program. And a lot more people are going to be looking at Medicare Advantage plans to help offset the hot cost of healthcare. And Scan Health Plan has a very competitive portfolio. And I'm excited to have Sharon join us and show us why Scan Health Plan really stands out against the rest when it comes to prescription drug benefits. So welcome, Sharon.
Good morning, Erin. Thank you so much for having me, and happy October.
Hi, can you believe it? It's annual election period again. Every year, Sharon, I say, you know what? It's going to be easier next year, right? But there's always something, right? And so this year, it's going to be a big open enrollment. And I think a lot of growth is going to happen in the Medicare Advantage space because the pharmacy benefits are sort of improving overall from a standard design perspective with Medicare. But the improvements come at a cost, right? And so the standalone drug plans are spiking up in cost. And I think a lot of people are going to be looking at Advantage plans like Scan Health Plan. So I'm excited to have you on.
Likewise, and thank you for having me again.
100%. So before we get started, Sharon, tell me just a little bit about your background. What motivated you to be a pharmacist? And was this your dream job? Did you grow up wanting to be a pharmacist, and how did that go?
I know I get this question quite a bit. But by background, I am a geriatric pharmacist. I did my training in older adult care over 2 decades ago at the VA. And I would say, very early in my life, my grandfather, he was on dialysis. He would go 3 days a week. And when he would come home, he was always taking a whole pile of medicines. And that really was one reason that sparked my curiosity around medications. But then on top of it, I found out from my parents that he actually went on dialysis because of a medication impacting his kidneys. And so it really kind of drove me to better understand how medications impact all of us when we take them. And so I actually was on a very direct path right after high school. I got into pharmacy school straight from high school. And
wow, that's incredible.
So I would say it was
a Hauser of pharmacy school. You went straight away, right? So
it was a 6-year program, 2 years undergrad at USC and 4 years graduate, and came out with my doctorate. Pretty direct path.
Amazing. What a track. So you're incredible. I love it. So, I love the personal story, right? Because I feel like when people have a personal connection to the work they do, they tend to bring a lot more passion to their role. And I know in looking at your background and your accomplishments, that's exactly what you do. So, and speaking of roles, I think about, well, what are all the things you could do out there, right? You could be a pharmacist, right? You could be at the drugstore. You could be doing any kind of work with the drug manufacturers, but you chose a health plan. You chose to go with Scan Health Plan. And I just think with so many avenues that you could go with your background and training, why healthcare? Why did you go this route?
Yeah, what I really like once I, entered into the pharmacy space, I like that balance of the business side of pharmacy. There truly is, right, a business side to pharmacy, and leveraging my clinical expertise and the business side of things to really provide folks with affordable and accessible care. That's what I truly do enjoy, and I think part of it also stems back to when I was growing up, my parents also had like a side local like business. And so I had this business mindset, and I was asking myself, okay, how can I apply both, my love of business and clinical and meld it together? And for me, the answer was managed care pharmacy.
Yeah, perfect fit. I love it.
Yeah.
So, well, your background and experience really pays off in terms of providing such competitive products. And I just think, when I think of all the health plans out there, right? You chose a home with Scan Health Plan. And I'm just curious, there's a lot of places you could go, a lot of carriers in a national scale. You chose Scan Health Plan. What makes Scan the right fit? Why did you choose Scan to be your home?
Yeah. So I have been here, Erin, hard to believe, but 20 years I've been with
Oh
Scan.
my gosh.
And yeah, and what keeps me here is, as I really kind of ensure that we're taking care of older adults the way I believe they should be taken care of. I've never had this dilemma of, steering away from my moral and ethical kind of internal compass in making these decisions. Yes, there's always tough decisions to be made, but I think with SCAN being a nonprofit organization and us really focusing and beholden to our members and not to shareholders, that's a huge thing. As I, in the healthcare profession, we're always focused on doing no harm.
Right.
And the patient comes first, and I'm able to do that here at SCAN.
Right. I really feel that that's really a deciding factor. And one of the reasons that I like personally working with Scan in general, the experience for both agents and for Medicare beneficiaries is really top notch, right? So, from the hands on approach, from the operational side to create a good experience, to the member services that is provided, along with the services for agents and brokers like me
Yep.
that are out there, is amongst the industry's finest, right? And that makes a big difference in the outcomes, the service, and the overall experience with the plan. And so,
Yeah.
when we think about that, aside from the benefits in the booklet, right, and some of the soft things that you talked about there that we don't necessarily measure all the time, there are some really distinct measures in our industry, and they're called the star ratings. And one of the things that makes me really pumped up about working with Scan just overall is the consistently high star ratings. That means a lot to members, it means a lot to agents and brokers like me, and it means a lot to our provider partners, because when a plan is highly rated, that means they're going to be consistent in the market, providing consistent benefits, making subtle improvements so that they're going to be there for the long haul. And Scan has really achieved some amazing outcomes. I don't even know how many years in a row, Sharon, of 4.5 out of 5 stars ranking, which is incredible, amongst the tops in our industry, especially in the state of California. And I guess what I was just curious about, there's so many different measures in the star ratings, but I know Scan consistently does well in the areas of pharmacies
Yep.
and with patient outcomes. So I was just curious, like, how is that measured, and why do you think Scan just consistently does so well in this space?
Yeah, so I think, the star ratings is meant to measure quality over many different attributes, right? As you're getting your care. On the pharmacy side, it's satisfaction of ease of getting medications, using the prescription drug benefit. And then also, how well does the healthcare delivery system help you take your medications, stay on track with your medications, close any gaps in therapy that you may need? And so we are, structured, and we partner heavily with all of our, provider partners to really help our members get the best experience with their prescription drug benefit. And you would be amazed at how many times people need added support, right? Whether it's in their own family, a caregiver, or their pharmacist, or in addition to their doctor, to stay on track with their medications. And so we really use a joint approach, and that's really what leads to the high star ratings. I will just add on, in addition to high star ratings, we also are award winning. Most recently, Erin, you may not even know yet, but we were ranked number one Medicare Advantage provider by JD Power. They do a survey. Yeah, they do a survey on Medicare Advantage, and we ranked highest in California related to customer service. Yeah. And a part of that ranking is, how well we provide trust in our health plan, our ability to help members save time and money, and also our ability to resolve problems when things go wrong. Because we know things do go wrong in the healthcare system, but we're there for our members. And so I think those kinds of accolades really help to reinforce that our focus is on strong quality care. And I'll even just add that this month, the pharmacy team here at SCAN, we also got an award from Pharmacy Benefit Management Institute. And we got recognized for the work that we do on making medication adherence, reducing the disparities in our Latinx and our Black members. And so it kind of just shows, all of these pieces that we really, truly are focused on our members and helping them exceed kind of their own health expectations on keeping healthy and independent.
That's incredible. I just want to do a huge shout out and congratulations to you for your team specifically, and then just SCAN in general to be continuing to provide top-notch service. And it doesn't surprise me in the least that you got ranked number one in service, because I've experienced firsthand the type of care and concern you deliver for members and also for brokers, making it easier for us to do business on behalf of our clients and ensure they get what they need. So congratulations. That's awesome. So little round of applause virtually over here for you guys. Nicely done. Very impressive. So now I was just curious, you touched on it, working with providers and so forth in terms of making sure that there's adherence to medication and that people are getting what they need. But tell me a little bit about some of the in-house programs you offer to better manage pharmacy benefits, right? I mean, I kind of picture myself, early in my career, we spent a lot of time going into seniors' homes, and I saw a plethora of things with prescriptions, right? Like, oh, I take all these. And even today, sometimes I'll have people give me a list of everything they've ever taken, and I'm going through the entire list to say, do you still take this one? Is this needed? Are you taking all of these combination of medications? How is this being managed? And so it's a big challenge, I think, to make sure people are taking the right things, enough of them, not commingling medications, those types of things. So what kind of special programs are you leading over at SCAN that really are innovative and helping seniors to not run into some of these pitfalls, I guess?
Yeah, I guess we have a wide variety of programs, but maybe there's three that I'll hone in on. And the first is around adhering to your medications. And Erin, you will not believe how hard it really is to stay on track with your medications, right? Whether it's not understanding the reason why to take a particular medication, or leaving the doctor's office where English isn't your first language and you're confused on how you're even supposed to take the medication. Or just forgetting, right? In your daily day-to-day, you forget to take maybe your
That would be my problem.
We find that, it's human nature, right? It's not made easy to stay on track with your medications, and that you need other support systems to stay on track. And so when it comes to things like your diabetes, cholesterol, and high blood pressure, we have programs where we are able to see through prescription claims which of our members might need some extra assistance. And we call them up. And we try to identify what are their challenges specifically and kind of connect and solve for that particular barrier so that they stay on track with their medications. And so through our programs on adherence, in a given year, we keep about 90% of our members on track with their medications related to diabetes, cholesterol, and high blood pressure.
Incredible.
So that's one program.
Those star ratings too.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Another program, which you kind of touched on when you mentioned, you see some folks on a whole myriad of prescriptions, and do they really need to be on them? This is one of my personal passions, but we have a deprescribing program here at SCAN, where we are consistently taking a look at our members and asking ourselves, the reassessing of are they getting benefit from the medications that they're on, and do they need to be on them long term? Because one of the things that I've seen in my career is that our healthcare delivery system is very good at starting people on medications, but we're unfortunately not so good on reassessing and saying, Erin, is this medication still working for you? Is it still right for you? And
Right.
so our team of pharmacists here, when we find that there's medications that potentially shouldn't be used long term, or that are high risk in older adults and might be, leading to falls if they're on long term, we bring those up to our physicians that our members are getting their care with, to say, hey, let's take a look at this. Let's revisit it and just make sure indeed we need to continue it. And I think that there isn't enough of that in the healthcare delivery system. We've been doing it for a couple of years now, and what I'll say is about 15% of our recommendations get adopted by providers. Is that where I want it to be? Absolutely not. I want it to be a lot more than that. But hopefully we're setting expectations, right, around this is important of us improving our healthcare delivery system. Because quite honestly, people in the US are on so many more medications than other countries, and we're not necessarily seeing the outcomes.
No, 100%. I also think, just related to that, I mean, as an industry, you're influencing the industry, right? Because as soon as you're starting to talk to physicians about that, there's adoption of that behavior kind of across the board. So
Absolutely.
for me personally, I'm passionate about having a high impact. So even like a show like this, right, where it helps agents and brokers that work with me on my team, but my passion is spreading that word broader. And I think you really are aligned with that mission when you're doing activities like that. And what
Yeah.
was the third program you wanted to highlight, Sharon? Let's talk about your Medicare coverage. SCAN Health Plan is for people with Medicare, and that's their sole focus. They're known for their award-winning service, and that's really what sets them apart. SCAN has the comprehensive all-in-one coverage you need, plus the extra benefits that might surprise you, and the exceptional service that you deserve. It's time for a better Medicare Advantage experience. To learn more about SCAN, please visit scanhealthplan.com or ask about SCAN from your local agent or broker. Thank you.
Yeah, the third program is really, when we design things here at SCAN, so many of us have this mindset of how would we want it for our own parents. And so when new members join SCAN, one of the programs that we have implemented is ensuring that if they're on a medication that requires prior auth, that we get that going for them so that our member doesn't have to do it themselves, right? I would want my mom, my dad to have that assistance because they don't know how to navigate an authorization process. And so when a broker or a sales agent enrolls someone in SCAN, there's a care coordination form where they indicate to us what's the drug that requires prior auth. And then my team here reaches out to the doc to begin that authorization so we get them on the right medication right from the start when they join. And I think that, you mentioned this earlier, but that's kind of the top-notch service, the little different things that we do to make sure that our members have that smooth experience.
Great onboarding equals happy member equals retained member equals high star rating. It's a formula that works. And it also means better care, right? So the beneficiary wins, and that's what's most important. And I love the perspective of really thinking, how would I want this to work for my parent? That's always my question. If this was your mom or dad, how would you want this to work, right? And I feel like we share that, and I feel really aligned with what you guys bring to the table. I love it. So now, one of the awesome things I think about, well, two things that you have in your favor, right? So one is a not-for-profit, right? Which means doesn't mean all the money that is made goes into investing in benefits. It could be programs and service and these kinds of things, but it often gives more funds to put towards enhancing benefit design.
Yeah.
And then also enjoying this 4.5 out of 5-star rating that you've earned helps to create more revenue for the plan. So I guess how I look at it is you have a couple of purses to draw from to enhance your benefits. And one of the things that I've noticed in my early looks at SCAN's product portfolio for 2024 is a lot of enhancements in the areas that really seem to make sense for beneficiary health outcomes. So not frilly benefits, but really things that are at the core of pharmacy, doctor, hospital, the key benefits that are so, so important to so many people. And I know that your portfolio is improving overall, but specifically it's improving in the way of pharmacy. So I thought maybe you could just tell us about what we can expect from SCAN's product portfolio for 2024 and how pharmacy is playing a major role in what you're bringing to market.
Yeah, so this selling season, we are pioneering and introducing some game-changing benefits that are really focused, like you mentioned, Erin, to keep seniors healthy and independent. And hopefully what you've been seeing from SCAN over the past couple of years is that we're really focused on personalizing senior care. And we actually have this, I don't know if you can see my little like badge here. It says me, and our focus is on Medicare for me, right? Because we all want to, not some cookie cutter approach to our benefits. We want things tailored to us on what matters to us. And so, one of the things that we kind of see in studies is that 2 out of 3 women age 50 and over, they tend to find that their health issues as they're conveying them and getting their health care are often either downplayed or dismissed. And so when we kind of had that in mind, we are actually launching SCAN Inspired. It's first of its kind in Medicare Advantage. It's a plan designed for women by women. And women are going to have access to benefits like $0 estrogen therapy. When we think about taking care of our health, a lot of, folks, even including myself, as we were designing this, right? We want to go and do things like Pilates or Row House, kind of more of those boutique kind of gyms to stay healthy. Wouldn't we all want health coaches to keep us on track?
And I do. Can I sign up?
I know, right? Developed by women, you're going to deliver what women want.
Exactly.
And so we really think it's going to help women get the care that they deserve and they need. And really that comes on the heels of, I think you're familiar with, this past year, we launched our SCAN Affirm product for the LGBTQ plus members in our community, where we wanted them to have a dignified healthcare experience. And so you kind of see that we're personalizing our products and our offerings and tailoring them to the wide membership that we serve.
Right. And making it not a one size fit all. It really goes with your philosophy. One of the things that I'm actually really excited about, and I've seen it in both your classic design as well as some of the C-SNPs, like the heart and the diabetes C-SNPs that are out there. But one of the things that I was hoping you could share with us is this new emphasis on some commonly taken brand name prescriptions. And I know that basically on some of the C-SNP plans, including some that you've mentioned, but some of these medications will be $0 copay on the C-SNP. And then even on the classic plan, some of those common expensive brands are going to be covered at a tier 6, $11 copay. And these are kind of a big deal. So I thought maybe you could share some of the medications that are on that list and let people know where to find that list, because I think that's going to be a very unique differentiator for SCAN in the market for next year.
Yeah. And so kind of as we do our product design, we know in older adult care that prescription medications play a huge role. And so when we're, trying to think about, hey, what could help our members even more, what we've decided to do for this annual enrollment period is introduce a game-changing prescription drug benefit. So we are launching a new tier 6 on our formulary, which provides brand name drug treatments for heart failure and diabetes that have no comparable generic alternatives for either $0 or $11, depending upon which product our members are enrolled in. And that not only provides significant savings for our members, but they're the key medications that providers are providing for our members. So that there are medications like Eliquis, Xarelto, Entresto.
You're speaking my language, Sharon. I'm excited.
Yeah, right. I know. Whenever I tell anyone the names of these drugs, you don't have to say what they're for, because especially in the broker community, they know the names, right? They're like,
oh my gosh. Exactly. I've actually got it chiseled in my background up here as the SCAN Hot Part D prescription drug. So it's actually really incredible and a huge game changer, because when I think about compliance and adherence to medication, one of the things we didn't talk about is the barrier of cost, right? And so prescriptions like Eliquis, for example, can be costing a beneficiary upwards of $2,000 for a year if they're not, considered low income. And so coming out with a program that treats that for $11 or zero in some situations per prescription, that's going to be a big enhancement and a real game changer for beneficiaries, and really encourage them to take those expensive medicines. Because I have a lot of people say, well, I know that my doctor's recommending it, but I got to figure out something else, right? And so this is going to make that a lot more accessible to seniors, and really to save money in their pocketbook for things that we really do want them to take to manage their health.
Absolutely.
So I just think it's awesome. I love it. So
we're super excited about it. Yeah.
I'm like beyond stoked about it. And I just think that's going to be wonderful for our beneficiaries. And so many of them are taking these high end, expensive medications. So this is going to be just a huge enhancement. And just, I really think it is a testimonial to SCAN's commitment to investing the dollars where they're most important for health outcomes. So this is just huge.
Yeah, I think medications matter a lot. And that was in our thinking when we, on top of the fact that we provide 90% of medications for a $0 copay, we knew the next inch to go was on brand name medications, for which there is no generic alternative yet. And so for us, this is a huge game changer in being able to do it. It was an investment. But when we think about, what it's going to do to improve health, heart health and diabetes health, it's the right thing to do.
It's amazing. So now, Sharon, you just touched on it there a little bit. You talked about 90% of medications are a $0 copay. Can you elaborate on that a little bit so we can understand what that means?
Yeah. So, when we take a look at our members and the common medications that they're taking, they fall on tier 1 and tier 2. And in our benefit designs, tier 1 and tier 2 are $0. So when we take a look at all of our members and how much, they're paying out of pocket, 90% of the medications that they're taking, we provide for zero. That's going to only grow now with these drugs, for in some of our C-SNP plans also being zero, these brands. And then being able to, provide our members with $11 for some of these key brand name medications. To me, when I think about providing better care, I feel very good about the direction we're taking the prescription drug benefit.
I feel really good about it too. And I wasn't even there to help with the decision, but good work, Sharon and team. So I love it. So now, one thing I was going to ask you, I was just thinking of this as we were talking through, but would you mind sharing just some of your key bigger preferred pharmacies so that we can understand, does it matter with SCAN which pharmacies they use to get the $0 or $11 copay, or do you have some preferred arrangements that you would be able to share?
We do. So we have over 66,000 pharmacies nationwide in our network. As far as preferred goes, it's a wide variety. So we got, CVS, Rite Aid, we got Express Scripts mail order, all in the network as preferred. I'm losing track of some other ones, but a good chunk of them.
Where's a good place for people to go, Sharon, to see the whole list?
Yeah, scanhealthplan.com. You can look it up. Our pharmacy network, like I said, expansive and easy to get the $0 copays at a preferred pharmacy.
Right. So Sharon said it here. If you need to get more information on the preferred pharmacy or the formulary or questions on SCAN's products, scanhealthplan.com, or of course, contact your local agent. So back to the show here. So a couple things, Sharon, I wanted to ask you. So I was just thinking about how California is so unique from our delegated model standpoint on Medicare Advantage plans, right? So other states are different. Here we have networks that we work with, like Brown and Tollins Medical Group, or large pools of doctors that we work with. And you touched earlier about how supportive you are in the onboarding experience with members, like transition of medication and filling out the coordination of care form, and really just making it easy for members or brokers on their behalf to get them lined up with the right plan. So fast forward, they're already your member, right? And exceptions need to be made, right? Maybe a prior authorization needs to happen. Maybe there's a non-formulary request. Maybe there's something where, something special needs to happen with a particular authorization. From a physician standpoint or a medical group standpoint, how do you work with the provider community to make their job easy in terms of getting these patients the care they need and the prescriptions they need to take?
Yeah, so we are actually very heavily integrated with our providers. And like you said, it's because of that unique dynamic that we have here in California. And I think, some of your viewers may not even know this, but a lot of those medical groups have pharmacists on their end. And so my team is working directly with the pharmacists over at, let's say, Brown and Tolan, with any sort of care gaps or needs behind the scenes that our members may have. And so it does seem seamless to our member. But our pharmacists are working directly with the medical group pharmacists on any particular outliers, whether it's a deprescribing opportunity, whether it's adherence challenges, and we were able to talk with our member. We relay that information back to the medical group.
That's incredible. I love to share. I liken this, Sharon, to getting under the hood of how these Advantage plans work a little bit, because I feel like the average member doesn't really actually see what goes in to a Medicare Advantage plan to really deliver a great experience and strong outcomes for them, and why plans like Scan Health Plan are rated so high. But these are the reasons that drive those high star ratings, in terms of how well companies like Scan Health Plan do and how interactive you are with both the patients and the physicians. So you guys do an amazing job. So I know now that we're pumped up out here, I feel like Scan Health Plan in Northern California and some of our areas is kind of like the best kept secret, right? A lot of agents and brokers haven't necessarily known about Scan Health Plan and your your broadly competitive portfolio of products and this expanded suite of products. If an agent or broker is learning about Scan Health Plan, what's the best way for them to get in touch with Scan and get contracted?
Yeah, so getting contracted is super easy. In NoCal, we do have a broker account executive, Tim Yoon, and his contact information is here. It's tyoon@scanhealthplan.com. Just simply reach out to him. Our certification process is super simple. It's an annual, process, and it takes less than an hour to do. So easy
Yeah.
peasy.
So thank you so much, Sharon. And it really, I encourage all of you out there, if you don't have Scan as part of your portfolio of products, this is definitely the year to add Scan Health Plan. Their suite of products is very competitive, centered with the member at everything that they do, which is aligned with my goals and my philosophy, and I'm sure with many of you out there. So do contact Tim at scanhealthplan.com, or you can reach out to me. I'm happy to help you get a Scan contract and support you through that process, or whoever you work with on the agency side to help you with that. So Sharon, back at it. I'm curious now, there's going to be Medicare beneficiaries watching the show. So obviously our audience is broad. So we have a lot of agents and brokers. So I want to make sure they're really adding Scan to their portfolio. But if I'm a member listening in and I want to learn more about Scan Health Plan, which route should I take?
So I think there's a couple things to do. If you heard something interesting around Scan Health Plan, definitely visit our website, www.scanhealthplan.com. And if you'd like to kind of, figure out what's the best options for you out there, I do also recommend getting in touch with an independent broker that sells Scan along with other carriers. A good broker is going to understand you and everything that's important to you and lay out the options on what the best option is for you, tailored to you. And so I think those two are good tidbits to know.
Thank you so much, Sharon. And I really feel like for all of you out there, for agents and brokers or members, if you need help, no obligation, you can always call me and I can help get you connected with Scan Health Plan if you'd like to work with them. Or if you're someone interested in possibly enrolling in a Scan product, be sure to reach out to us. But like Scan Health Plan, that puts the senior at the center of everything they do, that's what good agents and brokers do as well, right? So it's all about evaluating your needs and what's going to work best for your needs and situation, and what makes sense from who your providers are, your prescriptions you're taking, and the benefits and services that you need, along with the customer service and star ratings to sweeten the pot and make sure you're on the right type of product. So I really appreciate that, Sharon, and I think you're very well aligned with how we feel about our seniors out there and making sure they get the best possible care and services. So Sharon, as we kind of wrap up here, first of all, this has been amazing.
It's been fun. Yeah. Thank you again for having me. Yeah.
I can see why you've been a dynamic leader, Chief Pharmacy Officer for Scan for over 20 years. Yeah, you got 20, you look like you're about 20, so you got about 20 more years in you for sure over there. So you're going to be there forever.
That's super kind.
if you were to leave our audience, whether it's agents and brokers or it's members out there or just people who are really curious about Scan Health Plan, and you were going to say there's one or two key takeaways you'd want people to know why Scan Health Plan, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say that one of the key things is and I mentioned this earlier, whether it's doctors, pharmacists, nurses, or innovators here at Scan, what we're constantly asking ourselves is how would we want care for our parents? And I think when you have an organization all aligned asking that same question, you're going to get good things that happen for anyone that's a member of that kind of organization. And so I think that formula comes about because we are a non-for-profit and we're not, our number one priority is our members. We don't have to answer to shareholders, and it enables us to do this creative thinking and delivering the right thing. There's no, perverse kind of decision making going on. It's true to keeping seniors healthy and independent. So those would be the couple of things that I think are unique to Scan on why Scan.
Thank you so much, Sharon. It's been wonderful having you on. You're an amazing guest, a dynamic, successful woman. So, a great inspiration to all of my viewers out there. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you to you and the rest of the leadership team at Scan Health Plan for really investing in this portfolio and continuing to put the seniors at the center of everything you do. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thank you, Erin. Pleasure.